Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into a really fascinating literary phenomenon. Kahlil Gibran's 1923 book, The Prophet. We're going to try to unpack what makes this collection of prose, poetry, fables just so enduringly popular, and still so relevant almost 100 years on.
Yeah, and for you listening, it's worth knowing this isn't, well, it's not just a book. It's become this global bestseller, translated into, I think, over 100 languages now. It really offers these profound insights into, well, being human. It's like a shortcut to some deep truths.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. The Prophet. It came out in 1923, and it's essentially 26 short pieces, sort of like fables, but written in this poetic style prose poetry.
Written in English, actually, by Kahlil Gibran, who is Lebanese-American. Alfred A. Knopf was the original publisher.
Right. It's not a huge book physically, is it? But its impact has been massive.
Oh, absolutely massive. What's really fascinating is just how popular it's been and for how long. It's easily Gibran's most famous work. And incredibly, it has never, ever been out of print since 1923. Think about that.
Wow.
Never. It's one of the best-selling books of all time. The numbers are pretty staggering. Over 9 million copies sold just in the American edition by 2012.
9 million. Just the U.S. edition.
Yeah. And there's a point it was selling like 5,000 copies a week worldwide. It hit the million-copy mark way back in 1957.
1957. That's amazing staying power. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What was going on around then, the 50s, 60s, that made it hit that milestone? Was it just, timing?
Well, I think it speaks to this deep, ongoing human need for meaning, for guidance. The messages just seem to cut across different times and cultural shifts. It has this timeless quality, really, which kind of brings us to the core message, what's actually in the book.
Right. The story itself.
It's quite simple, the setup. There's this prophet, al-Mustafa. He's been living in a city called Orphalese for 12 years. And the story starts just as he's about to finally leave to sail back home.
Okay.
So as he's waiting for his ship, the local people, led by this seeress named Al-Mitra, they gather around him. And they basically ask him, share your wisdom with us before you go.
Ah, okay. So what kind of wisdom does he share? What topics does he cover?
Oh, the big ones. Really universal themes. He talks about love, marriage, children, giving work, joy and sorrow, pain, knowing yourself, good and evil, religion, death.
So pretty much the whole spectrum of life.
Exactly. It addresses, life and the human condition. For instance, the bit on children is famous. Gibran writes, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself."
I know that line. It's quite something.
It is, isn't it? It's not just advice. It's like a whole reframing of parenthood. Very liberating for many people. And that's typical poetic, but also deeply insightful about these universal experiences.
So with these themes being so universal, where did Gibran himself get these ideas? What were his inspirations?
That's a great question. And yeah, understanding Gibran means looking at his own quite complex spiritual background. He was born into the Maronite Christian tradition in Lebanon. But he didn't stop there. He seems to have been searching. He drew from all sorts of places. The Baha'i faith was important. Islam, too, especially Sufi mysticism, that mystical side of Islam.
Interesting. So a real blend.
A real blend. And actually, the conflicts he saw in Lebanon, the sectarianism, seemed to push him towards believing in the unity of all religions, not away from it. You definitely feel that in the book's message of universal love.
Okay.
And you can see echoes of other thinkers, too, maybe William Blake, Walt Whitman, Emerson, even ideas like reincarnation pop up. There's also a specific event people point to. He met Abdul Baha, the leader of the Baha'i faith, around 1912, and apparently that meeting deeply affected him.
It sounds like a really rich mix of influences, though you do sometimes hear people say the prophet is a bit, simplistic, maybe a bit new agey. Especially because it was so popular in the counterculture. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, that criticism does come up. Its language is very accessible, and it focuses on these big universal truths, which definitely resonated in the 60s and 70s. But I think its depth isn't necessarily in complex philosophy, but more in how it prompts personal reflection. It gives you a framework without being dogmatic, It's distilled wisdom, maybe.
That makes sense. And its legacy goes beyond just the text, right?
Oh, absolutely. For one thing, there's a unique financial legacy. Gibran actually left instructions that all the royalties from the book after his death should go to his hometown, Brashari, in Lebanon.
Really? That's quite something.
It is. It's managed by the Gibran National Committee there. And there was a sequel published after he died called The Garden of the Prophet. Plus, it's inspired other works. There's a musical version in 1974 by Arif Mardin, sort of a jazz funk take on it.
Wow.
Yeah. And the group Sweet Honey in the Rock did a beautiful song version of the On Children passage. More recently, Salma Hayek produced an animated film adaptation in 2014.
An animated film. Interesting. So it keeps finding new ways to connect.
Exactly, it just keeps resonating.
It really is incredible thinking about its journey. From 1923, this slim volume, to becoming this, well, timeless global phenomenon, touching on things that matter to people everywhere across generations.
It really is. And maybe, for you listening, a final thought to take away. Think about Al-Mustafa sharing his wisdom before going home. What insights, what lessons have you picked up in your own orphalese, your own journey so far? Things you might share or things that have really shaped how you see life.
That's a wonderful thought to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.